Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. With a title for a film such as this, directed by the godfather of gore, I can't wait to see what it delivers. Massacre time. This is a 1966 spaghetti western, and is also the first film in the Vengeance Trails box set from Arrow Video. It is also directed by Lucio Fulci. I usually call him Lucio. Could be Lucio. Who also directed Zombie, City of the Living Dead, and The Beyond, as well as tons of other great classics. The plot. He was sent for. A prospector comes home to find his half-drunkard sibling, a worried mother figure, and a town run by a mysterious man known only as Mr. Scott, whose son is a whip-cracking smug SOB. This prospector has found hell at home. Can this prospector find the truth and get some answers? Or will there be a massacre? Or both? Massacre Time is from the Vengeance Trails box set, which I just mentioned, so if you're not paying attention, you might have missed it. It's featured alongside 3 other films, which I will be reviewing. I can't wait to get into them. This was a fun one. Campy as all hell, and poorly dubbed. Massacre Time is the typical spaghetti western revenge story, but with a flair for the ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong, this film does not get as insane as those 70s spaghetti westerns. However, it does have a handful of laugh-out-loud moments, kind of like me in a cowboy hat. Oh wait. However, I do feel audiences back then were way more wowed by this stuff than left chuckling at what they were seeing. Also, some of the big reveals are handled a bit too quickly, and can leave the viewer a bit confused. One had me wondering, if he's related to him, then how does his other son have any association with him? I had to look it up after finishing the movie. One thing that was clear from the get-go was the dubbing, which, as mentioned before, is poorly done, but adds a level of charm to this movie. However, one thing that American and Italian westerns have always shared is the beautiful cinematography. Italians were masters of this. Fulci was no exception. He's always dabbled in the deep fogs and atmospheric settings, and that does kind of translate here, not to his full extent, which he later falls into, but this is not only a gorgeous movie, but a great Blu-ray transfer from Arrow Video. Compared to the original picture quality, which I did see on YouTube, the colors really pop in this movie. From the bright blue sky to the harsh saturation of grass. It's gorgeous. For the characters, we have Tom Corbett, played by Franco Nero, the original Django, as well as Keoma. And he was also in The Shark Hunter as, well, the Shark Hunter. He's the blue-eyed cowboy. I felt he didn't stand out in this role compared to some of his other works, but come on, it's Franco Nero. He does take a lot of hits with the whip, and he still manages to come back and fight and look gorgeous while doing so. He's a good shot, who can also apparently somersault, no problem. Jeff Slim Corbett, played by the late George Hilton. From Raiders of Atlantis, he was the professor. Is the drunk who, no matter how plastered, can still shoot and fight with great skill. He shoots better when he's drunk. His signature is handing off the side of a horse like seen on this cover and shooting at the baddies.
Hey, gentlemen!
If he's this good when he's drunk, I wouldn't want to cross him when he's sober. I like how his character always asks for his victim, "Hey, you there," and then shoots them. It's funny enough to warrant a chuckle almost every time. There's one part where he leaves Tom to not fight, but then it's as if the writers figured, hey, we'll bring him back sooner rather than later because he's actually a great character, and have him come back in the very next scene and have him be like, I changed my mind. Okay. He's actually my favorite character in the movie. Jason Jr. Scott, played by the very recently late Nino Casanovano. He died recently, that's what I meant to say. He is a smug psycho. He's always got that shit-eating grin on his face. That makes you want to see him eat a bullet. He's great with the whip and even dishes it out in a scene or two. However, near the end, he has the opportunity to, but he doesn't do it. It's right there behind you on the wall! Grab it! Mr. Scott, played by Giuseppe Adobati, seems to be the bad guy at first, then is betrayed by his own son, or Jeff. It's not really clear in that scene. It shows one possibility, and the dialogue introduces another. The Undertaker, played by Dekan Yu, speaks in fortunes, and is always asked to pay for his information.
Confucius say, if you want to live a long life, try to be ignorant and know nothing. But in this town, you have to know a lot of things. 20 cents, please.
Pay me now, I don't tell you shit. It's kind of hard to understand because his accent is so ridiculous. He's still a funny character as he prepares $3 coffins, and has a look of greed when he sees more incoming customers. And then there's Sanko, played by Rana Shuga, who seems to be the middleman. He doesn't seem to get too involved, but he does take orders while giving them. He tells Mr. Scott that Tom has to get up by himself, but then tells Jason to stop beating Tom because Mr. Scott said so. Okay. Massacre time definitely doesn't want to waste your time. Jeez. This brisk 90-minute picture tells a basic story with crazy stunts in exchange for an actual development. Pure entertainment. The gore, the effects. I might just change this to the violence and the action and the effects, or the action and the effects. A man is torn apart by dogs and is seen very reminiscent to Django Unchained, which came out a long time later. There's harsh whipping that'll leave many a scar, as well as bloody bullet hits, including a hilarious headshot. As well as a guy being shot and flung backwards because of the impact of the bullet, which is impossibly ridiculous, but awesome. It's not the most graphic Western, but it's head and shoulders above most American ones from around this time. The effects are decent, the scar appliances are passable, and not too over the top. They look painful, and the color of the fake blood really adds to that. It lies somewhere between paint and red dye. I do wish the slashes didn't keep disappearing on his face, though. The camera also follows the riders on the horses, not only from far away, but right up on them. It's not a blue screen or anything, but it looks just about as silly. I appreciate the effort, though.
A+.
The motion picture soundtrack, Coriolano Gori not only composed the music for this movie, but sang a song for it.
You'll come back home someday. You'll come back home someday.
He'll come back home someday. It's a rip-roaring tune that's bombastic and assured enough to bring out the cowboy in anyone. Most of the instrumental work is just reworked versions of the song that was sung. Different styles were done, and some even sound ancient. Like some Egyptians were playing a song for the almighty man that is Franco Nero. And fill your eyes with bitter sand, bitter sand. That's enough of that. Overall, this was a fun entertainer. It's a simple story with a great execution. While there are some silly parts, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's pretty cheesy and sometimes a bit forgettable, but is undeniably entertaining. The characters are not too deep or even memorable, save for George Hilton's character. He has a carefree drunkard attitude until he's robbed of something that he holds dear. There's also that twist that was out of left field and poorly done and explained. Therefore, my reaction wasn't all too impressed. Still, this is a fun 90-minute time passer that has some of Lucio Fulci's style and charisma that we would see later in his horror films. Overall, I give Massacre time. A 3 out of 5. Thank you all for watching. I'm Brian Gatto, the Horror Shark. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon, where even $1 a month can help keep this channel going on strong, and I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you get access to body counts and other music videos that you cannot get on YouTube because of copyright restriction. Monetary support, if you'd like to support the channel through PayPal, it's horrorshow37@gmail.com. I greatly appreciate it. But if you don't want to support me with any money, just hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, yeah, subscribe.